I've spent about 6 to 7 days creating these first 2 pages of my craft paper handmade journal book, and it is a very good experience learning different kinds of techniques, using different materials, and learning printing for the first time. So if you are interested to see how I come up with this page, do stay around and I will show you my process in doing it. This is my first time using a gel plate that I got from AliExpress to do some printing on a tissue paper. So the first thing I do is to put a few drops of acrylic. These are watery acrylic, so I don't put too much, and I'm going to use a roller to roll over the whole plate to make sure that it's fully spread evenly. This paper is meant to create some textures on part of the collage, so I do not mind the creeps that's in between, and I feel that it will add some interesting effect to the whole overall look. I've learned a lot from Yax Mix, especially on gel printing. He has a lot of ideas about how to do contemporary pop art kind of prints. So you can check out his channel too. So this is the first time I tear off a piece of tissue paper from the gel plate. It is really quite intimidating, but yet it is satisfying as well, seeing that the prints are really like extracted out from the plate itself. So I guess that the key for doing this is to have less paint, acrylic paint on the gel plate. Do not apply too much. Do not put the tissue paper only when the paint are almost dry. So put it over, wait for a while, then remove the tissue paper. So the first print of my life came out. It is really looking nice, and yeah, I like the texture, a bit cracking effect in the texture effect, and how the graduation of tones from dark to light goes about. So yeah, I think it's a very good try for the first piece. This is the second piece. I pull it out with a hole in the center. I kind of like the texture a lot also because I used the wooden tweed to draw out the swirls and some of those uneven textures at the top. So I thought maybe I will start by putting these textures at the bottom of the journal book. They look like sea water, they look like ocean, they look like mountains at the same time. So whatever it is, I will just put them down into the journal book first and see how I can continue with the rest of the texture, slowly building up each different layers, following how I feel about the pictures itself. I have an idea to do something whimsical, but I'm not sure still at this point. But yeah, it's exploring how to put it onto the paper using white glue mixed with water. And yeah, I think it is also due to this swirl. If you can see the orange color that continues from second page towards the first page, so I'm trying to use different colors. This is another piece, the third piece that I came up with, that actually breaks up a lot while I tear it up. So anyway, I also have to throw it away because it just got rolled up all together with the roller. Now this one is the successful piece. I'm able to paste it nicely, and once it dry I can actually see the transparency through the tissue paper onto the initial background that I've done for the page. So it's pretty nice and I like that effect. I follow up by another piece, tearing it in and pasting it where I feel it should go. The swirl helps a lot, so it is a mindful process and I like it much due to the no prior planning required for this kind of collage artwork. So it's just like one step at a time, let it dry and see what happens next. So yeah, that's the reason why I slowly finish it in 7 to 8 days. I also tried using different kinds of materials like gouache or maybe even acrylic to add on to the media itself for the extension of a piece of paper into a ship or something like a flying ship, and also using other tissue papers that is not being painted over to maybe create some kind of cloud effect. So I think by this time I have an idea that there will be some kind of a ship that's flying in the air. So I explored cutting similar color tones, blue tones from magazines, cutouts, and pasting some kind of another print remainder, like acting like a lake for the ship itself. So this is really like expanding and allowing me to just do whatever kind of ideas I have to make it possible, because it is supposed to be a fun collage. And at this stage here, I am using clear tapes, the broader the better, to paste them over parts of magazines that I find there is different kinds of interesting body text or headers. Some are bold, some are like plain text. So pasting over them and cutting out later. So I'll be putting them, soaking them into some water overnight so I can transfer the letters into my journal. So this is the next morning where the cutouts were being soaked overnight, and it is very easy to rub off the magazine, the papers from the back of the transparent tape. Actually, I tried it over like soaking over 2 or 3 hours last time as well, and it works pretty good. So just rubbing off the back of the tape, and as long as I can feel the tape already instead of paper, then it will be fine. It will look like it is still not transparent by the look of it because it is still wet. So I will put it up and allow it to be air dry, and soon later you will see that the tape is really transparent when it is totally dry. I really enjoy myself doing this image transfer technique using a tape, easily transferring text or pictures or fonts from magazines, and it feels like I have a dark room now and it's pretty fun, really really fun. And this is how it looks like when it's dried. I like the effect that not all the paper are being removed. There is some kind of very nice texture that's left behind on the tape as well. So it depends on individual. I enjoy seeing this kind of texture on the tape. And at this point, I already have the idea of wanting to do some kind of whimsical ship that's flying in the air. And I feel like my initial background is too warm color tone with a lot of orange and yellow effects. So I think it is a good try to use crayon going over the first initial background, because crayon itself, it has a very beautiful texture, So yeah, this is a white application, which I think will be very helpful for the next step for me to put on the tape above it. So I'm now testing out the placements of the text over the texture and seeing how it looks like. And I really like how it looks actually. So pasting itself, the tape itself, is not strong enough. The white glue that will dry transparent will works better over the tape. So this is how it looks, okay? And so the next thing I'll be doing is to place back all the initial plannings using magazine cutouts and remainders of print paper and tissue papers over the page, or using white glue over it. So this is how it looks after all those papers have been dried off. This is actually like 2 days plus away from the previous day when I pasted them in, because one thing to allow them to totally dry out. Another thing is for the lacking of ideas, how to continue this journal and collage. So I feel like it is good if I only continue when I have the mood to do it, so that good ideas will come in more naturally. Put it aside for a while, continue on other projects, and then only come back when I feel right. So this day, I decided to use gouache to paint out the shapes of the flying ships, and perhaps also to use other mediums like pen, micro pens, color pencils, and maybe some watercolor effect. So after trying out the gouache, I feel like acrylic will be stronger, and it looks better, especially on the tape itself. So it is good to try different kinds of mediums, and acrylic will leave some kind of stronger texture over the tape itself. I have a small palette of gouache paints that I bring to my outdoor paintings, and to allow the flying ships to stand out better from the background, I use a tone of darker blues to bring them out. So gouache is a very flexible material or medium to use, especially when it's being mixed with water. The more water there is, the more transparent it will become, like watercolor. So it can be opaque and transparent use at the same time. Right now I am bringing out another water brush for me to help to smoothen out the edges from the brush that has the gouache paint. So this is one of the methods I use quite often for smoothing effect. At this point, when I'm doing this gouache to watercolor effect, I am really quite impressed by how fun collage can be, using different kinds of materials, layering them all together. So from the beginning, I've used gouache painted background with tweeds, and then I use a gel plate to print, make some prints by putting on tissue paper on top to create some textures, and then also using tape transfer for image transfer method, transferring some body text, subheaders or headers over to create some kind of text-based background. I also combine in some magazines and tissue paper cutouts into different kinds of shapes that can be white glue in. And now using different kinds of mediums like crayons, gouache, acrylic, and even watercolor that is being achieved by also just using gouache itself. So I feel like this is a very fun process for me to see how the whole thing really turns out looking. I finish off the collage as of now with watercolor over the acrylic, with also cut out motivating words that I can find from magazines. So I feel like a collage, it seems to end now for this chapter as of now, but many new ideas can still be added on next time if I have more ideas of how it can be better. So thank you so much for this journey with me over my first page in the journal. I will be continue my second page. So I will see you in the next video. Bye.